Now this question came up a lot in various different forms. How do I get the girl of my dreams? How do I get her to like me? How do I find my future life partner? For those of you who are actively searching for a partner, or you've already got someone in mind and you're desperately trying to make them your own, but you don't seem to be having any luck, I strongly suggest you take a step back and have a look at the situation from an outsider's perspective. As hard as it is to put your emotions aside for a second. Hi guys, this is Stella Bella. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Hubient channel. This is Stella Bella. Now a little while ago I did a survey on social media and I asked you guys what sort of questions did you want me to answer regarding relationships. Out of those really good questions that you gave me, I've decided to pick 3 to answer today. Mostly because I feel I have the most experience in those 3 areas and because they were the topics that came up most. So the 3 questions that I've decided to answer today are related to the start, the middle, and the end of a relationship. So hopefully it provides some insight for those of you who are looking for a relationship, going through some issues within your own relationship, or perhaps looking to end things. Let's get right into it. Question 1. How do I find a girlfriend or a boyfriend? Or how do I find my soulmate? Now this question came up a lot in various different forms. How do I get the girl of my dreams? How do I get her to like me? How do I find my future life partner? For those of you who are actively searching for a partner, or you've already got someone in mind and you're desperately trying to make them your own, but you don't seem to be having any luck, I strongly suggest you take a step back and have a look at the situation from an outsider's perspective. As hard as it is to put your emotions aside for a second, a lot of people who are searching for a partner, searching for a soulmate, just searching for someone to fill their void or to stop that loneliness, often it can lead to a little bit of desperation, which means you'll end up seeing things that aren't actually there or being too pushy or too forward with your communications to that person. From my experience, from what I've seen through friends, acquaintances who just really want to find that soulmate, they're often actively searching for it whenever they go out, whenever they meet a new person. If there's someone that is slightly nice to them or shows a tiny bit of interest, they immediately latch onto it and start planning a future, a marriage, a wedding, house, kids, that sort of thing. When you're at that level of desperation, you can often do things that may scare off the other person. If the other person is just purely being nice because they're being polite and friendly, and you take that as a sign of something more, you will say or do something that will scare them away. Especially if they're not at that point that you're at, or if they don't even feel the same way. Start off by getting to know everybody as friends, and truly as friends. Even if you meet people who seem to be the perfect person for you, who could be the one who has everything that you're looking for in a husband or wife or a partner, step back a little, relax, and just chat to them, get to know them as friends, and let them get to know you as well so that they can make their choice whether or not you're the right person for them. Because if your personality and the way that you are is actually very attractive and very enticing to the other party, but because of that level of desperation you add on top, or your pushiness, you end up scaring them away before they could even get to know that good side of you, then it would be a real shame. And trust me, from the other perspective, there's nothing more frustrating than someone who's just trying to be nice and friendly and maybe perhaps genuinely wants to get to know you, but you start rushing things and taking things too far, or pushing something that isn't quite there yet too early. So just step back, let it come naturally, get to know each other first. And if it doesn't lead anywhere, it's fine. As the saying goes, there's plenty more fish in the sea. Just because someone seems perfect for you, it doesn't mean that they need to be yours right now, or they need to reciprocate your feelings. Because sometimes you might not be right for them, and that's okay. They have a choice just like you have a choice. I've often found the best relationships, the ones that last the longest and the ones that start off the smoothest, are the ones that come together naturally. So just always try to get to know that person as a friend first. Genuinely try to build a connection before you take things to the next level. Question 2. What happens if a relationship gets stale and boring, and should you give up? I think a lot of people forget that relationships require work. When 2 people come together because they love each other or because they want to see where that connection will go, for a lot of people, once you've achieved that person, you've found the person of your dreams, you found the one, they think that's where the work ends. But they are so wrong, because it is precisely there, that's when the work starts. When two people come together from different backgrounds, different upbringings, different experiences, and different relationship values as well, when they come together, it takes twice the amount of work to make it last, because it's no longer just you trying to do your thing. You are now trying to match the other person so that you have some sort of a flow and you're not clashing with your different ideals, different beliefs, different backgrounds. It's important to remember that when a relationship starts to get stale and boring, it is very normal. It purely means that you are both very comfortable with each other and you're not needing to press and deliberately try to make things happen. But if you are feeling it's getting a little bit stale and boring and same old, then do something different, because it's within your power to do so. Some people like the stale, some people like the boring, they like the calm, they like being predictable, they like a relationship that's just smooth with nothing out of the norm happening. But if you are finding this is a little bit too tedious for you, then make things happen. Surprise your partner with a special date. Do something special for dinner. If it's always the other person that cooks and you clean, swap the roles around a little bit. Or if everything is so balanced in your relationship and it just works, but it's just getting a little bit mundane, then change it up. Go out to eat. Or if budget is an issue, then go do something that doesn't cost anything, a nice walk on the beach. Anything that is different will be a breath of fresh air to a relationship that is considered stale or boring or mundane. But do not give up, because there is a reason why you are comfortable in this relationship with that person to begin with. And chances are it's because you get along so well, you connect so well, and you love them a lot. And that's why you're in this relationship, for it to be long enough to be stale and boring. So try different things to spice up the relationship, whether it's activity-wise, bedroom-wise, or just conversation-wise. Even give each other little quizzes here and there, because you'll be surprised. The person that you think you know so well and you know everything about might just surprise you with some of the answers to the questions that you ask. It's just that you never ask them. But definitely don't just give up when things get boring, because it is a very natural and normal stage of a relationship. But if it is an issue to you, try the different ways to spice things up. And if it doesn't work, then sit your partner down and have a talk about what you can both do together to make things a little more exciting again. Question 3. If you're unhappy in a relationship, should you take a break? Now, all of these answers are my own personal opinions. I am not a trained relationship therapist or anything, so please take my advice with a grain of salt. And as I always say, a relationship is between two people. That's why it's called a couple. And external parties, outside forces, they can purely give their opinions based on their own experiences, but they don't know everything about your own relationship. So any advice that you hear from myself or other people, consider it with the fact in mind that these people do not know what your relationship is like and what the dynamics are. But for me personally, I don't believe that breaks actually work. I believe something like not talking to each other for maybe 24 hours after an argument, so you can both cool off and come back with clear heads, that's fine. But if we're talking about an actual proper break where you put a label on it and say, let's go on a break, from what I've seen from my own experience, from what I've seen from friends and acquaintances, that generally leads to just a flat out breakup. A break only works if two people are in it for the right reasons and for the same reasons. The reason being that you're trying to give each other a little bit of space to think things through, to see if you actually do need each other, and to give each other a chance to miss each other. But I feel that if you are going to the level of having a break, chances are the work and the effort it takes to stay together is a little bit too much for you. I think that's what you're basically saying, which means when you are on a break, you're more likely to look for the positive things of the break. The freedom that you're getting, the breath of fresh air, not having that person around to nag you. Yes, some people when they go on a break do start to miss each other, miss the small things, miss the things that they used to complain about, and they eventually get back together. So yes, it does work for some people. But for me personally, I find that if you do decide to go on a break, you're pretty much saying that neither party are willing to put in the effort and the amount of work it takes to stay together and communicate. The chances of you actually coming back together after the break is slimmer than if you just stay together and try to work it through. But of course, this also depends on the reason for the argument or the reason for the break. If you're going on a break simply because things are going stale or you're not really feeling it, then it pretty much means it's over. But if it's because of an argument or something that happened that shocked either one or both of you, and you need some time to process it, then it could be healthy to just spend that time apart and not have the other person try to influence you with their arguments or their opinions on the matter. But at the end of the day, if you have a break, communication is still very important. If you want the relationship to keep going, it's important to touch base every once in a while, see how each other are doing, and to just let each other know that they still exist in your world and that you're still thinking of them and you still care about them. Because I find that if you do go on a break and there's no more communication, any fire, any passion that is left in the relationship will eventually simmer down as well. It's a very risky step to take, but it works for some people. But in my opinion, I would much prefer to work at it, make as much effort as possible and communicate rather than spend that time apart where you're allowing each other to be out of sight, out of mind. So that's my 3 relationship questions for today. I hope this has helped some of you, and like I said, these are just purely based on my experience and opinions. If you are going to assess it based on your relationship, consider the fact that I know nothing about your relationship, and the only 2 people that can truly judge a relationship are the 2 people in that relationship. So any advice that you do listen to, whether from myself or other people, don't take it as gospel and consider it with your own circumstances. Thank you so much for listening today. If you've got any questions, feedback, or comments, please leave it down below. We would love to hear from you, especially if you'd like to discuss the topic as well, or any advice that you would like to share or experiences you would like to share. If you've tried it and it's worked wonderfully, or if it's failed and it's been a complete flop, either way, let us know down the bottom. Please make sure to click like, subscribe, and follow on the Hubient Talent channels. And please follow my social media as well. I am stellabella.au and I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. I would love to hear from you. I hope you've all had an amazing start to 2023, and I wish you all a wonderful year filled with love and the relationships that you adore. I look forward to speaking with you next time. Thanks again for listening. Bye.
Do you need high-speed file transfer for large files? Whether you're trying to send a promotional video to a client or a home tape to a family member, transferring large files can be a headache without the right tools. Well, no need to worry, Deskin Remote Control's got you. The end-to-end feature of Deskin makes it easy to transfer files between devices even in a remote session, without having to upload them to a cloud storage service. Deskin allows you to share files quickly and securely, regardless of the file size and as often as needed. Subscribe and get your exclusive access now here in Hubient Shop and use code HUBDESK10 to get your 10% discount now.